Dave from Out There Bushcraft. It is a beautiful cold January day in our woods. I'm just in front of one of our sites that we use for mostly forest school. It's quite windy today. We had snow earlier on this morning. Actually, it's all gone now, typical of a northern English winter now, I think. We're in quite an exposed area. There's a field, probably just 20 metres, there's a field edge 20 metres from where I am now, and the wind's coming across that direction. So I just thought, I mean, it's switching around a bit, we'll see what happens. I just thought this might be a good opportunity to have a look at the Siberian firelay. Okay then, so typically the wind has dropped a little bit now, but never mind, we'll still crack on. So the Siberian firelay, then really useful in windy conditions. So you might use it if you're, I don't know, sitting down on the beach somewhere and there's an onshore wind. You might find it really useful if you're out on a canoeing trip and maybe camping on an island or on a promontory somewhere and there's a fair bit of wind blowing off the lake, for example. So in those kind of conditions, it's a good thing to have the Siberian firelay in your head as a possible technique that you can use. Dead simple then. I've cleared an area of land, just here, an area of ground, sorry. The first thing I'm going to do, as I typically do, is lay down a base. So I'm going to pop the base down for the fire. With the Siberian firelay, I tend to position it so that, I think originally the wind was blown across this way. I tend to position it so that the base of the fire is running in the direction of the wind. That helps the air to get in underneath. But obviously the issue I have with the wind is that the fire can spread in the direction that the wind is blowing, and that potentially can be a problem. So by using the Siberian firelay, I can alleviate that issue quite a bit. It's something sometimes called an Evenk firelay, and we will all know if we know the Evenk Hitch for putting tarps up and so on, that's quite a switched on bunch of people and quite efficient. And so the Siberian firelay works really well and doesn't really, I guess, come as any great surprise. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to lay my sticks in a V. The wind is coming in this way, or at least it was. Let's see what happens when I light the fire. I'm positioning it in the direction that the wind's going, and because the fuel is effectively stacked immediately above where I want the fire to start, and there's no fuel beyond that, it's very difficult for the fire to creep and you know, take off in the direction that I really don't want it to go. Okay, so just by laying the sticks crisscross, of course I can use feathersticks if I need to, and I think that's probably something that would be quite appropriate at times. At the moment, just because we're doing this really for demo purposes rather than anything else, I'm just going to lay a few sticks like that, light the fire underneath, and then that will take off and light and should stay where it is as well, of course. Okay, so let's see what happens when we go through the process of lighting that fire then. That's the Siberian firelay. Right, we've got the fire laid out. I've got some kindling, some tinder in the middle there. I might need to add some more. Just for the purposes of doing this, I'm just going to use a lighter. There's no reason to do otherwise. You know, of course, you could have birchbark in there and you could be lighting from a spark and all that kind of thing, but we're really just looking at the technique of the firelay rather than anything else at the moment. So all I'll do then, just give that a bit of a light. Took my glove off. I'm just trying these new gloves out, actually. It's worth mentioning. And I've been trying a number of different pairs of gloves out, and I was sent these ones from, I'll just get that away. I was sent these gloves from a company called Top of the Range, and they're a fantastic glove. I'm quite keen on military gloves. I should say it's not my intention to do reviews. If people send me kit to review, I'll do that. If I don't like something, I'll just probably not bother worrying about it. If I like something and I think it would be useful to you guys who are watching, then I will post about that. But I'm also not looking to slag companies off if I don't like equipment, because that's a personal thing. But I will certainly let you know if there's something out there that I think you might be interested in. You can see actually now that my fire has the wind has completely switched direction. But fortunately I'm in a position at the moment to just be able to do that. So that's what I'll do. So what we've now got is the wind coming this direction, because that's what happens. So I've arranged the V so that the fire can now burn in this position. There's no fuel behind for the fire to catch onto and therefore chase off across the field, which I really don't want to happen. And as the fuel is positioned directly over the flames, then the fire burns directly here, and we don't have to worry about it. And all I really need to do is just monitor that fire, add fuel as I need to, and then once I'm up and running, take it from there. Okay, so this is the Siberian or Evenk firelay, great for windy conditions. Worth having that in your repertoire. You know, as we always say, I suppose the knowledge weighs nothing. Okay, so maybe give that a go next time you get out there.